What is up, everybody? Random Man here, bringing you a special kind of video as for the first time ever, I am here bringing you a spoiler-filled review. Yes, if you've seen my previous video, which was my spoiler-free review for the movie Glass, then you would know that towards the end, I asked all of you if you would like me to give my spoiler-filled thoughts on the movie, as for as long as I talked in that video for about 20 minutes, I had a real tough time getting out my full and composed thoughts on the movie without giving anything away. And I've personally had two friends tell me that they would like to see me give my spoiler-filled thoughts. One of them has already seen the film and the other one has yet to see it. So this review will be up for the time being anyway until you actually see Glass. In case my words thus far or the title of this video have not been clear enough, I will be going into spoilers for the movie Glass, and will also be giving out details here and there regarding Unbreakable and Split, seeing how all three of these movies are connected and do form the East Rail 177 trilogy from M. Night Shyamalan. If you haven't seen my spoiler-free review for Glass, I will be leaving a link for it in the video description and at the end of this video. So this is your last chance to back out before I go into full-on spoiler territory. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, still here. Let's get right into the meat of what everyone who has seen this film has been talking about, and that is the third/final act of Glass. In my spoiler-free review, I mentioned that M. Night Shyamalan didn't just pull one twist at the end. No, not one, not two, but three twists / reveals that really had a lot going on with them. With the first twist, this has to do with Kevin, the character played by James McAvoy, aka the Horde. His dad was apparently on the same train as David Dunn, Bruce Willis's character, before it ended up being a crashing disaster, and David Dunn was the only one who walked away unscathed. This twist, I said, was fine. I mean, it really wasn't anything that mind-blowing or really special, but the fact that one of the characters was related to this, specifically Kevin's dad, and he was trying to find a way to help out his son with his split personality disorder, and yeah, that I thought was an alright connection to Unbreakable. But what I thought was more egregious in its reveal was with the second twist, and that showed how Sarah Paulson's psychiatrist character this whole time was a part of a secret society, and it is signified through a tattoo on her wrist, and all of the other cops or whoever that were at the scene within the climax also had the same tattoo on them, and how she just wanted to have all three of the main characters here, the trio of Samuel L. Jackson's Mr. Glass, Bruce Willis's David Dunn, and James McAvoy's The Horde, be put together and just have them all killed. And that is what happens here. All three of these guys end up being killed by the psychiatrist's bidding. Now, my issue with this wasn't necessarily that all three of these characters died, but just in the way it all flowed together and came to a head at this point in the story. And personally, if you want me to cite which death got me the most pissed off, it was the one with the Overseer. The way he was killed literally just had him drowned in a small puddle of water, his head being dunked in there, and given how his apparent weakness is water, I thought that was a dumb way to die. I thought it was pretty bogus that he went out like that, and yeah, personally, I was just, pissed off by that. The way Mr. Glass dies involves him taking a literal punch to the gut from the Horde, and given how he has osteogenesis imperfecta, that was enough to kill him as he has really brittle and fragile bones. The way the Horde died, though, he was killed by a gunshot to the chest, which I thought was baffling, as if you remember the ending of Split with Anya Taylor-Joy's character, Casey. I accidentally called her Cassie in my non-spoiler review for Glass, but anyway, Casey was running away from the Horde, and then, yeah, she has a shotgun with her. She fires 2 shotgun blasts into the Horde, and he walks away from all that just fine. You even see the wounds on him throughout the duration of Glass, but somehow another gunshot of sorts fired into the same general area kills him when he survived 2 other ones in the previous movie. Like, what? I didn't understand the logic there. Couple that with the psychiatrist character being revealed to belong to this secret society, and you have a twist that is just so out of nowhere, out of left field, so random. Nowhere else in the rest of the movie, to my recollection, is this even hinted at. For sure, I don't remember this detail being a part of Unbreakable or Split. And, it's so cheap to be inserted at that point in the movie, just at the last moment where all other things are coming to a head. It wasn't brilliant in hindsight at all. Then the third and final twist that I surmised from the end of the movie involved the final battle between David Dunn and the Horde and Mr. Glass to a certain extent, even though he was just sitting in his wheelchair off to the side. All that was being recorded on the security cameras around the mental hospital that they were at. And it was shown prior to the final act of the movie that the security cameras inside and outside the hospital were being installed. So it wasn't that much of a surprise that it was all being recorded. It was even shown at one point during the final battle that we saw it from the POV of the security cameras. But what is the quote-unquote twist is that the footage from all that was sent to the remaining 3 supporting players of this film. Charlene Woodward's Mrs. Price, Mr. Glass's mom, Spencer Tree Clark's Joseph Dunn, the son to David, and Anya Taylor-Joy's Casey. All 3 of them get the security footage, and they wonder what to do with it, and Sarah Paulson's psychiatrist character gets pissed too that the footage was tapped into. And what is decided between all 3 characters is that this footage would be made public. They sent it out online all over social media as it was being picked up by people visibly on their phones in the central train station, where they witness everybody discovering how these superhumans do exist and might inspire other people to take pride in that or reveal who they are, something like that. Now, my thing with this final twist is that I can see the intention behind it. Before just doing the spoiler review, I did watch other people's own spoiler-filled thoughts on Glass, and some people I very much agreed with in how, when it all came to this, after 19 years in the making to really wrap up this whole trilogy, yeah, I was really bewildered by the ending that M. Night Shyamalan went with. But those that defended Glass and its ending said that this was supposed to be profound in the way that this movie was small in scale and instill hope and any other positive feeling with that. That argument I can totally see and understand, but my issue with what these 3 characters did in making this footage public is that it goes into what I thought was a failed commentary on superheroes throughout the rest of Glass. In fact, one of my friends who wanted me to do the spoiler review said that after he saw the film, he saw a review for this movie being titled Glass, the Big Middle Finger to Superheroes or something like that. And I could see where that would come from as well, because In my non-spoiler review, I commented how this movie kind of felt like it was trying to pander to those who are comic book fans or really big enthusiasts of superheroes through Sarah Paulson's psychiatrist character, as the whole time she is trying to convince the main trio of players, David Dunn, Mr. Glass, and the Horde, that they do not possess these superhuman abilities. I understand what Shyamalan was doing with that too. I could believe that he is a big comic book fan, but I don't think that he fully got the current headspace we are living in with pop culture and how superhero movies and comic book films are really legit now, big money makers. And what he was trying to do is just shove that sentiment in denouncing superheroes through the psychiatrist character. And it really felt borderline pretentious in my eyes. I really hate describing movies or any part of movies that way. But yeah, it just came off as preachy in how it seemed like Shyamalan didn't understand what makes comic book fans and superhero fans really love their properties. I mean, superheroes are today's modern ancient Greek mythological heroes, and that's why we pass down these stories to other generations in the future. It's why we see these characters put up on the big screen and interpreted elsewhere within entertainment and pop culture. Like, these characters have endured for so many years, and I could see them really living on. But in connecting back to those three characters releasing the security footage online, I don't see how that could realistically happen here, as it could be an internet fad within the universe that the Israel 177 trilogy has established, because the whole trilogy was trying to be played up as realistically as possible with superhumans existing. And I could see, like, people looking at these videos as viral. They could be viral videos, but would they really last? Would they stay in the pop culture conversation in this universe? I'm not sure. That's one of the many questions that remains unanswered with the ending to Glass, and seeing how this is definitively, what looks to be definitively, the end of this franchise. It just left me pondering, but that's both a good thing and bad thing, as for the past few days, I have been thinking about Glass and how other people view it, whether they really enjoy it or they were split like me, or outright hate it like I've seen a lot of other people take this movie into their own opinion. But at the same time though, I think M. Night Shyamalan really dropped the ball with this ending. He had so much time since 2000 to craft an ending to Glass, and it almost felt like he didn't know how to conclude it and just went with this ending out of all the other possible endings he could have done and felt more sound. I mean, other decisions that M. Night Shyamalan has made behind the camera has had people raising some eyebrows, like him refusing to take money offers from Disney and Universal, I believe, to help finance Glass, because M. Night Shyamalan's previous three movies were financed by himself. This includes The Visit, Split, and Glass. And like I said in my non-spoiler review as well, you can tell how low of a budget this movie had in the way the action sequences were done GoPro style, with the cameras being mounted on the actors in close-ups, all of that. And also the movie teasing this final showdown at this tower that was just built in Philadelphia where this movie takes place. And, you know, I have a friend who I recently talked to before doing this spoiler review, and he felt like that was such an anticlimactic thing to tease and then deny at the end of the movie. Personally, to me, I knew that there wasn't going to be any big bombastic final showdown like that. It would have felt too much like another comic book or superhero movie of today to end big like that. So I do admire the subversion that M. Night Shyamalan did in making the ending of this movie fall in line with the small scale of the rest of the trilogy. But yeah, as I've mentioned a few days ago and right now, I didn't think the ending landed, and it's a shame because the first half of the movie I was so into, and it looked as if we were going to get some real payoff, but the ending and just all other attributes with it did not feel earned. I'm not sure how this movie is going to be viewed later on, as I mentioned in my non-spoiler review, because the ending of Unbreakable was seen in not the greatest of lights when it first came out in 2000. But now it's been reappraised, and this movie is now a bona fide cult classic. I love Unbreakable as well. I really like Split and what it did both on its own and that zinger at the end connecting to Unbreakable. And with Glass, only time will tell how the rest of the trilogy and on its own as a movie will be taken by film fans who discover it later down the line or reevaluate it. But that, I think, is the best thing this movie has done overall, and really the best thing any movie can do, and that's spark conversations among different movie buffs or just anyone who is into the realm of cinema in general, as it gets us talking, debating, and really interpreting what we thought or just how we took it all from what we just saw on the big screen or the small screen. I mean, that's what makes M. Night Shyamalan a consistently interesting filmmaker, even with all of the blunders he has done. And really, I cannot name too many other directors who really take as many risks as M. Night Shyamalan does. And for that, he has my respect. So there you have it, my spoiler-filled thoughts on Glass. Even after all I have said for minutes on end, I don't think that this is by any means a bad movie, but it's not a particularly good movie either. That is what's left for you to decide as well for yourselves. Comment below what you thought of the ending, what you thought of the movie overall, how it fits in with the rest of the East Rail 177 trilogy. I really want to know. I'm curious to see what everyone else continues to think about this film. Thank you all, as always, for watching. Be sure to like this video, comment your spoiler-filled thoughts on Glass, social media links in the description, subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll catch you on the next movie review.